Okay, so what am I doing here? It's my second rant of the week, and this time it's about writing to politicians. The issue is a recent bill, C-291, that was defeated in the parliament in Ottawa. This was to do with labeling of GMOs. Now here's the thing. I personally am not too enthusiastic about labeling GMOs because I don't think labeling GMOs will solve the problem. I know that pesticides in food is, in my belief, the biggest concern, and most of this pesticide is in foods grown in Canada that are not GMO. So therefore, labeling GMOs and avoiding GMOs, hoping that it will keep us safe, is not going to be the best situation. However, having said that, it is common sense that GMOs should be labeled. Everything about the food that you buy that is of concern, that can have some health implication and otherwise, should be labeled. You should know what you're buying. So it's a given that GMO should have been labeled. I would not, shed blood about it. I would rather see pesticides labels, pesticide concentration being labeled, pesticide being removed from food, but nonetheless, leave that part aside. This bill should not have been defeated. How did it get defeated? All the conservatives and most of the liberals voted to defeat this bill. Somebody proposed it. All the NDPs and the Bloc Québécois, the party from Quebec, supported it. The Greens supported it, and they were a minority. Vast majority of the MPs, the Conservatives and the Liberals, voted against it. Now here's the thing. I have put up the list of every MP that voted for or against it on the web, downloading from the government site. And I am going to write to my MP, a Liberal, who voted against it. And I'm making this so that you people can consider, if you want to take your democracy seriously, you can write to your MPs too. And what am I going to write? Here is what I'm going to write. I'm going to tell her, it's a she, that it doesn't really matter what she thinks and why she voted against it. It's not about her opinion. She was not supposed to listen to the party boss on which way to vote. She was not supposed to listen to corporations about which way to vote. She was not supposed to listen to select group of scientific experts that GMOs are not harmful, blah, 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 in order not to vote. And she was not even supposed to make her own educated or uneducated judgment on how to vote. She had no right to make that decision by listening to any of these guys or making a unilateral decision. What she had to do constitutionally was to check with her voters, with her constituents, what they like. If they like it to be labeled, then she should have voted for it. If they did not want it to be labeled, they should have voted against it. And she did not check with the constituents. How do I know? Because I'm one of them, and she did not ask me. She knows about this issue quite a lot, about the harmful effects of biotechnology of this kind, chemical dependent in industrial agriculture, because I have met her personally and given 24,000 signatures of Canadians who wanted the safety documents of glyphosate pesticide in food released by the government. They're sitting on top of it for 35 years without releasing it. She met me for an hour and a delegation. She got all this information in her hand and took to Ottawa to demand that the Ministry of Health releases it. And she didn't succeed. And whatever they told her, she completely shut up and doesn't want to talk about this subject anymore. I was going to remind her, and I'm going to write to her, that what authority did she have to vote against it? How come she did not check with her constituents? If she did not check with her constituents and voted unilaterally or listening to some other party, she has essentially corrupted the political system and the democratic system of this country. Now, just me writing it is just, one lone voice among millions. So this is what, if you want to take your democracy seriously, if you want to take your food security and food safety seriously, if you want to take your rights, democratic rights as a citizen seriously, if you're alarmed that your rights are being taken away, you have to stand up by the millions, in fact, by the thousands, and tell this members of parliament that they are public servants and their specific job is to execute the will of the people and not decide by themselves. They are not dictators, they are not emperors. They are public servants and their first job is to check with the public what they want about important bills such as this. It's a way of telling them that either you be a public servant or we are going to boot your hindquarters out of this parliament next election. This is what citizens' rights and grassroots movements is all about. I'm going to write my letter. What about you?